Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Storytelling Journey. Give me a moment here and let's bring our panel up on stage. Let's kick the show off with my co-host Jay Pasqua. How you doing, my friend? I caught you between bites, didn't I?
Well, trying to find the mouse cursor. That's always fun. Um, Actually, it's been really busy. You know, I'm helping to grow the business for a nature center, and we just had our grand opening and groundbreaking both at the same time recently, and so there's a little bit of a high coming off of that, and then trying to figure something else out. But it all really is these opportunities have come about as a result of being a great storyteller and also working with great people such as yourself and my publisher, if you did not know, is actually going to join us shortly. So I think it's going to be a great conversation today.
Listen, I'm enjoying each of these. We're hearing narratives from different professionals, different lenses, and it's just been a fantastic experience for me hosting and putting this show together. Last week we shattered records. Our last episode is currently sitting at 582 views. That includes the live and the replays. That is groundbreaking for us. So it's gaining momentum. People are excited, and you know what? Many people get hung up on, well, do people stick around for the whole story, for the whole episode? I look at it, and it was actually encouraged for me to look at it like breakfast television, like a morning talk show. People join in when they're able to, they stick around for as long as they're able to. And guess what? People are coming back to watch the replays. And that's where I see the value of building our community here. But with no further ado, we do have a great conversation lined up. We have our two friends, Annie and Professor Roxanna. Let's bring them up on stage. But before we do that, why don't we cue up the cheer? Let's bring them up now. All right, here we are. Welcome to the stage,
Hey,
my friends. How are you? It is a pleasure to have both of you here. Why don't we start off with some introductions? We'll be chivalrous, and we'll start with Professor Roxana. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, the community you serve, and we'll start with that.
hi, thank you so much, America, for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here. I am thrilled to be here. This should be happening all the time, though. I am a math major. I did my master's degree in mathematics, and I'm also a trained accountant. And I did a lot of finance in my accounting journey. I'm a trained accountant because I have never practiced accounting. So after doing mathematics, I felt that I could easily get a job and look after my five children. I have a big family. So I brought five children to America some 2 decades ago. So I felt that it's easier for me to take good care of my children while teaching. So I could, this is my story though, my story. So I could go to work and come back from school with them. And that way I would know when they are going the right way when they're not. Because I felt that making too much money from my accounting will not help me a lot taking care of my children because they are five, 3 boys and 2 girls. So I had to go to school, teach. But now they're all grown, have children, men and women. So I decided that this is my story. I decided I should start practicing that accounting and finance that I did from University of Nigeria. So I got my master's degree from mathematics as a teacher educator. So I've been teaching mathematics for decades, almost 4 decades. And so many things. I think I have a lot of stories. So I think I'm going to stop here for now. But thank you for bringing me here. And thank you, friends, Jay and Annie. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you join the conversation and be part of the try that again, the storytelling journey. Listen, if you have stories, we'll always have room on our calendar to share those stories and narratives because there are so many people, some who will be joining us live, some who will be watching the replay, and so many who are going to learn, and we will be their inspiration to get in front of the camera, get behind a book, and share and what they have with the world and create a legacy, which is what we're doing. And just as our friend Annie walks off camera, I'm going to ask him to introduce himself when he's ready to come back. Annie, the stage is yours. Why
So
don't you?
I have to do what I have to do. So I
Oh
have to
no,
do.
it's all good. It's all good. No, there's no judging.
What's that? I don't know what that is on the right hand side. That's well done, America. That's why I say well done, you. Look, I had to get the books that matter the most, I suppose. That's Professor Roxanna's book. That's one of hers. I say she got four books now. This is out the book that we wrote together. Lessons we learned from COVID. So that's the joy of my life. Now, so I
Yeah.
am Eni Osung, and what I do is help people to get famous. That's what I call it, right? I help them to, I guess, find a way to be known, liked, and trusted. I always say, I like my solutions, my services to give people, you know, ongoing benefits long after I stop working with them. So it's about long-term fame. Sometimes it's a legacy. It's a legacy thing. That's what books really are, right? So what I do, I help people do events like these, to organize them, plan them, fill them, co-host them if I have to. And the whole point is that I will build a community around my friends.
Yeah,
I get my friends to do TikTok dances, but I don't think that's going to last long after the dance. Not especially if it involves us, right? But so the other way is helping people to publish their books. But no, I love to help people to get their books away from their heads. I met with someone this evening, and she was like, "I haven't got any books in me," and I know the truth, right? After about 6 hours of conversation, I think we had 4 books planned out. That's the joy of my life. I love to help people to see how they can impact the world more with their
that is
stories.
fantastic.
And then also, I suppose last I would say is I love to help people to achieve, when I say legacy, and I say a part of writing a book is that your book's going to live forever anyway, right? Imagine if you could, become a best-selling author. That's a badge that very few get. Amazon publishes 1.5 million books a year. Only a few become bestsellers in the categories, and I have the gift to make my friends bestsellers. It's not a trick. It's a skill and a tool, and it's a process we'll go through as well. So now, Dr. Roxanna's gone through the process. And how many bestsellers do you have now, Dr. Roxana? 14, 16, 20?
Oh, I think there are about 9 of them. They're
Yeah.
coming together. As long I'm going to be waiting for you to publish them,
Mm.
but they're coming together though. And
I think,
before I don't want to jump into what he's saying, but I
yeah.
can say thank you to Annie for my writing the first book. Yeah, so I'll get there later on.
It gives me joy. And as Dr. J is a bestseller as well, many times.
Yes, I I just learned that moments ago that Jay and you uh, worked together. So you published Jay's book. Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are? There's about 1 billion users or members on LinkedIn. There's maybe a handful who no longer know who any are, and they're probably here on the show. So any probably knows everyone on LinkedIn, but not everyone knows the microscopic creators that we've become. Why don't you share a little bit about who you are, and we'll get started after that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I'm Jay Pasqua, the storytelling strategist. And really, what I try to do is help others tell their story. And a few years ago, I started out on this journey, not just wanting to help the people that come to me for consulting or anything like that, but I thought, I've got all this experience and knowledge as a storyteller in the news business, as well as being a published poet. Maybe I should start helping other people out. Maybe not the ones that are going to seek my consultancy, but maybe through a book and through a group that I once worked with. They encouraged me to go ahead and work on one. Now, anybody can tell you that if something will go wrong in the process, it will. It's not always 100% perfect, and but it was a learning experience. And it's funny how every bit of the book that I put together trying to help others was actually reinforcing and confirming what I needed to do for myself as a storyteller. And so each chapter was just sort of an affirmation of what I needed to do for myself. And so that to me confirmed I'm going exactly in the direction I need to be going in. And to be able to work with somebody like Annie who will show other people, tell other people, bring your story to them, just doing that alone can work wonders, and it'll help propel your story in a direction that will be seen by a lot of people. And I think that's one of your tenets, right, Miracle? To be seen. And so
That's
I
right.
think that to be able to work with somebody like Annie to be able to do that is important. And we definitely had a good working relationship. And I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, we came out uh, in the bestseller list right off the bat in several categories. So I was really pleased about it. And, Professor Roxanna can even attest to this as well. So
That is fantastic. We're creating stories, we're nurturing stories, and part of today's story, I enjoy sharing the stage and helping others be seen, heard, and remembered. So let's take a moment to welcome and thank everyone who has joined the live, our audience members who are in the chat. I want to take a moment and show my appreciation for your attendance. If you have questions that you want to share as the conversation goes along, feel free to drop them in the chat, or if you feel like you'd like to join the conversation on stage, I've dropped the studio link, and we'll do it throughout the show. And anyone looking to join the conversation, I welcome that as well. I will leave my introduction till the end, and let's jump into the conversation. We're here to spotlight our two guests, and not really showboat who Americo is. And people will have time to figure out who Americo is. But leading up to the show, I shared, put out a post and around this subject matter in terms of how many people aspired to write a book, have published a book, and 58% of people who responded either responded with "I've published a book" or "I'm working on right now." And you may very well be working with any who is well recognized as a publisher. But hey, it is a number that caught me by surprise, and I was was talking about this backstage. I'm a little naive. I didn't realize, just because I haven't walked into a bookstore or buy books regularly since my academic years, that this is still a thing. We talk about building personal brand, we talk about building legacies, and we run to social media in droves, but publishing is still a very well respected means of building a brand, putting your story in writing, and there's still a tremendous market that prefers reading opposed to just hitting the social media landscape and listening and doom scrolling through content. All right. So why write a book? Folks, why don't you share your story? What compelled you to write a book? Listen, I understand from a little bit of research, some people write because they want to share their expertise. They want to put their knowledge in writing to help others understand that they can solve other people's problems. Some do it just from creative expression, and some have intent and a purpose to leave a legacy. Now, I haven't written anything worth reading. I got ideas swimming in my head, and maybe one day those ideas will turn into a publication. But why don't the three of you will go around the panel, and why don't you share with us why or how and what inspired you to write your books?
I
Who
can
wants to go
start.
first?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm the only lady, so I can start. Well, anyway, I just want to say thank you again. Maybe you didn't hear me when I said the first one. I am glad to be in the midst. I'm glad to be given the mic to speak. But last year, that was 2024, when LinkedIn was still doing the audio room, I have been thinking about writing a book for a long time. So when I came to the LinkedIn audio, I asked a question. Can anybody show me how to write a book? Because I already had books to write in my head, but I didn't know how to write them. I didn't know how to put them on paper. And it was incidentally in charge, was hosting that day. So he said, "Well, how can I help you write a book? Oh, we can help you." Oh, I said, "Wow, this is what I've been thinking about for a very long time." There, behold, someone is just said is going to help me write a book. Actually, there is an anthology that is going on right now. Do you want to join? I said, "Sure, I want to join." And so that's how I joined uh, the lessons we learned from COVID anthology. And that's how, from that is the story, because that's how I became one of the co-authors. And that was the beginning of the writing. And I learned a whole lot of things while writing the anthology. I learned how to write with others. I actually learned because uh, I celebrated every stage. There was a stage of writing the your manuscript, trying to actually write down what you're thinking about. So I we said, "Well, we want to go right," and then after 1 week or 2 weeks, we were told that okay, this that stage is over. Then the next stage is to put down your thoughts, and then I passed the first stage. For me, I celebrate every stage in my life. That is why I'm still alive, because I celebrate every stage. And so I found out that okay, the book I was thinking about is coming to fruition, and so and I forgot that book at home. I brought the others, but lo and behold, at the end of around September, it was time to publish the lessons we learned from COVID. It was a celebration for me. I don't know about others. I was excited. I was thrilled. Okay. And I can say this again. I don't know when I don't know it's because I say it that people I see someone say any is somebody and is I said I just thought I don't want to be talking to somebody on the hallway of LinkedIn and they'll think she's crazy. I said, is it probably because I am saying that any was the reason why I started writing a book? Well, I can't stop saying it though because he's the person I have seen that gives and gives and gives all the time. If you call him anytime for help, he can give you up to, give me. I don't know about us others though, but you know what? I don't know what people coined. What I can say is I had someone on the whole way of LinkedIn, for that matter, talking about somebody going to hell. I said, for what? For helping others? For helping me? I don't understand what you're saying. Anyway, so by the way, I because I found somebody who was open to help me, so I wrote the first book. And I was among the people who wrote the anthology, the co-authors. And after that, I picked up my pen. I said, now I can write. So within about maybe 6 months, I finished the book on family wealth, and I let any publish it. Some of my friends told me you can publish the book by yourself. I said no. I want to trust Annie to publish it for me. Since he trusted me to teach me how to write, it's not just about that. There are people who wouldn't help you like that. So I cannot stop saying it. If it makes anybody mad, I'm sorry, but I can say that. I say that. Well, and then maybe some months after that, oh no, actually not so. There's another one that is innovations in education because I told you I'm an educator. I've taught for 40 years. I've been teaching mathematics. I taught for 18 years in Nigeria, then moved over here with my family. I have a big family. I have 5 children, my husband, so we all moved over here. By God's grace, we got we passed over the culture shock, and look, because if you are a professional and you went to another person's country, why did you leave your country? I don't know why people complain. Why didn't you stay in your country? So I came over here and they accepted me. And they actually showed a lot of love on me. When I went to do my master's degree in Converse University, the dean of mathematics, the way he actually, there was nothing I needed that he did not give me. With all, I came with a very heavy accent. When it is time to stop me, you can stop me because you know some people think I don't talk. Unfortunately, they don't know who I am. I talk when I with people who I think they will listen. So my dean at Converse University, with all my heavy accent that time, I tell people that my accent is my asset. So he helped me to do my teaching practice too. One thing he did is whenever we finish a test, he picks up my test and shows the class and asks me to come and do one of them on the board. Because I have been teaching for a long time, but what the problem was my accent. So because I had an accent, some students thought she couldn't. But when the test is passed out, my dean brings it out and shows the students. Well, anyway, so I just want to let you know. I don't know whether I'm lucky or something, but I always get into people who are ready to help. Just ready to help. So
Yeah,
there was when I went
and
to.
he does help. Listen, eh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Is it
Okay.
not, Annie? And that is a testament of
It's good, man.
Annie's generosity. He could be sleeping at this time. While it's 7:30 p.m. for me, it is the middle of the night for him. So I totally agree. I concur and I support that. Annie is a very giving and generous person. So in effort to keep us moving along. Annie, you've co-written, you've published. Let's hear your why behind the question.
Dr. Roxana, thank you for your kind words. Now, I'm here blushing away quietly, right? I do actually go red. This is an amazing thing to say, right? No, I think look, writing your book, I think, is, you know, it's therapy primarily for me. I think, as you said earlier, most people will actually have stories in them. They want to tell their stories, but they're burdened by their thoughts, which linger on some for years, and it can drive you crazy, right? I'm the therapist. I'm the doctor who comes along and says, "Let me treat you." No, I'm joking. No, it can be like that, and I think we all have stories. I'm surprised by your 58% America. I think it's more like 80% that
Really?
I, that I know. Yeah, that's why I do what I do, because I know there's enough customers for me, enough people for me to help, enough people who need our help that I'll never run out of clients. So that's proved right. Look
Well,
at Dr. Roxana, for example. And I say when she's written, so after starting with the anthology, she's written 4 books in a year. And let me tell you, she has more books, by the way. There's more books
Yeah.
on the way. Like the addiction, it really is like, everyone's got a story to tell, and everyone has an expertise. And something like you can't get across your expertise, your solution, your strategy, your framework in anything in detail apart from a book. Now, Jay's book is 200 pages, 250 pages now. It was double the size, by the way, gents. It was double the size. It was a huge book. It's 10 steps of stories, now 10 storytelling steps guide. It was like a Bible. Imagine what's been walking around on Jay's shoulders for years. To think, you have a 400-page book walking around on in your head. That's hard work. Get the book out. And I say, now, this is why people write books, and they write books to unburden themselves. But it's more to help the world with their knowledge. So it doesn't. If you don't write, you can't write a blog anywhere near that size. You can't do a video anywhere near that size. If you try and talk to them, they just do it and say, "Oh, I'm bored now." But if you put it in a book, people can read it in their own good time, right? And our books last a lifetime, more than a lifetime, last long after us. And I suppose
Okay.
we can be complete in our storytelling. I think we're bothered when we don't get across our full message. In your book, you can write as much as you like. And people will normally find stuff about you that you don't tell anyone else in any other place. Yeah, of course. Really, at the heart of our storytelling in our books is helping people. There's a lady I met this evening, and I say, she does many things, many things. I'm trying to just tie it down to what is your core services? What's a big problem you really want to solve? Okay, domestic violence. Excellent. Oh, now I want to talk about herbs instead. I'm like, which one? So we've got 2 books at least. My memoirs. I got something. I've lived 10 lifetimes already, but I'm at the age I am today. I'm saying, right now you got 3 books, right? At least, if not 4. I'm saying, which one are you going to start off with? Now, so each one, America will slowly help her to decompress and breathe, because once she's told her story, it's actually off her chest. 2 is actually helping people who can learn from the information from what she's learned, right? Of course, you can make money. Of course, you can impress your kids. I think that's probably my motivation. And my granddad wrote books, when I was younger, and they were talking in the 80s. I'm older than I look, because I haven't got grey hair. Don't believe I'm okay, right? So my granddad's books, they're amazing things. They're amazing things. Given I grew up in Nigeria, where there's no Amazon, of course, there's Amazon the way we know it. I said not then anyway. There's no Amazon anywhere at that time was there. So and there's something magical about when I tell people about his books. When I say people, I do some rooms with Obehi, for example. Jay and I do a events with Obehi. Obehi is Nigerian. He's a storytelling person as well. And I said, I've been to a few of his rooms and mentioned my granddad's books, and people they go hysterical. Oh, I know him. Oh, I can't believe that. And you're like, wow, that's the power of books. It can live long after you've lived, and people will remember you for what you shared with the world. Of course, and I said, look, last I'll say is this: as a publisher on my side, the anthology Dr. Roxanna mentioned, I could write a book myself. Will could, but I get a joy from elevating other people. That's why I live. I say I can elevate myself when I feel like Will can, right? Elevating, shining light on other people is what benefits all of us, really. And the group book, it was a chance for us to benefit other people. Now, Dr. Roxana and I never had we never published before the anthology. And there are 10 authors in the anthology, by the way. I'm saying for many of those people, it's the first time being published. So it's a chance to elevate people and to give them a voice and give them a spotlight and all the benefits of being an author. The legacy, the recognition, the chance to go on stage, the chance to tell the stories, the chance to impress their family and friends and the target audience. I could carry on America.
Yes, I know. It's listen, it's I I'm learning so much as to the value and the opportunity that publishing has. And you mentioned that you found that the 58% is a little on the low side. Of course, this is my community responding to this poll, but 22% of those respondents also mentioned, "Hey, I don't know where to start." Many people are aspiring. They have these ideas that they've put pen to paper, but now what? And here's an opportunity for us to set the stage for those 22% who are scratching their heads, wanting to publish their pieces of work. And at the end, I've already pre-live. I've dropped the link if you want to learn more as to where to start. If you are uh, a live a team member or watching this on replay and you are part of that 22% and you want to get in touch with any, we're happy to introduce you, happy to put you in touch and move you away from that 22% and move you closer to or build on that 58% who have already published or are working on something. But a fascinating stat is the completion rate. So anyone who manifests their idea of writing, 80% of writers who set their clear goals hit those deadlines. They will publish. If you just, if you let it fester, oh, I want to write, I don't know how to start, I don't know where to start. If you just keep conjuring those ideas of I like to and you don't put them into action, it never gets done. But I'm glad to see that 80% of the people who talk about their idea, manifest their idea, and it comes to fruition. And that's closer to the number that you had suggested, right? And 95% of authors who say they've published also say that it was worth the effort. So let's talk a little bit about that whole effort piece. It's time consuming. It's heartbreaking when you have a stack of written thoughts and someone goes to edit it and about half to three quarters of it finds its way on the editing floor. Let's talk about the realities of writing. It's not, there's a lot that leads up to that shiny book with your name on it that you get to hold up and talk about, isn't there?
Yeah.
Jake,
Well,
go ahead.
man, I've been. I wanted to touch on a couple of things. When you were talking about, the show and how we hit a benchmark and beat the benchmark from previously, I think in this day and age, the term is evergreen. It stays evergreen, and I think one of the things with events like this, it allows us to help tell our stories and keep telling our stories over and over again. I'm going to tell you, I've been listening to a podcast, and um, because it's about campgrounds, and that's currently my world at this moment. And I didn't realize until episode 3, I was listening to a podcast that was aired in 2014. So, so the fact that it stays evergreen, people can listen to it again. That's that's just a testament to the evolution of storytelling in this digital age. But going back to what Annie was saying, the basic premise for all of what we're doing currently, it all goes back to storytelling and to a book, right? And that's the ultimate evergreen, right? There are so many books out there that have been written hundreds of years ago that are still being used to teach children and teenagers and young adults today. And so this is the power of storytelling and what it can do. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. The other thing I wanted to kind of address about where to begin. It really begins with a story, right? The before you even get to any, you have to one figure out what it is that you want to do. What type of story do you want to tell? Who is your audience? These are the things that you need to figure out even before, way before you get to any and asking him, hey, well, how do we go about publishing? How do we get this to be a bestseller? And so that's where somebody like me comes in, somebody like Obehi, who Annie mentioned earlier. You know, we can help you get to that point. The the one thing that people don't realize is we are all storytellers, whether you choose to believe it or not. And I say this all the time. A recent study by the University of Liverpool, they said out of human communication, 80% of that is stories. The rest are just rumors. You know, stuff that you would sit and talk about around, you know, the water cooler, or you know, in the break room at work. So these are the things that people need to understand and realize. There's a story in all of us, and what you share with others, right, and how you share it is all as a result of the work that you're going to do or that you want to do. And so just keep that in mind.
Fantastic. We have a question from one of our audience members, OG Mike. Any AI tools to help me write my opus? Any suggestions?
Do you really want an answer? Can ChatGPT write your book? Of course it can. Will it be junk? Yes. So write it yourself. There's tools to help you organize your thinking and organize your content, right? Scrivener, so Scrivener is one of those tools that helps you to write, and basically you write. Your chapters are laid out in the right folders. Everything's laid out for you, right? I think Grammarly is invaluable. And so there's tools to help you, but you have to write the book yourself because a book ultimately is about your insights. Now, you don't want to write a generic book that anyone could write, and that's what generative AI will give you. It give you content that everyone knows is out there already, and but it's not personal. It's generic. So don't cheat. The whole reason Jay's book is worth reading because it's Jay's 10 storytelling steps that he's worked on for the last God. Jay's old. Trust me, I say Jay's worked on this steps for years, right? Dr. Roxana, I'm not going to say that you're a lady, so I shan't be that impolite, but Dr. Roxana has experience, right? And she's sharing her wisdom with you. It's not just words. I'm saying we need to tell our stories. You can't miss that out. It's our stories. Jay talks a lot about the moment of transformation. If that's what the books are really about, America, right? Now we learn something, and that thing we will learn now impacts us. That's what we're sharing in our books. If people want to know, so you have to explain. It's not just explain. You have to take people back to that moment in time when you learned that thing. When it dawned on you, the sky is not red, the sky is blue. Are you with me? You have to paint the picture when you realized that magical moment. Now, no tool can help you write that.
I agree.
And tell
I
your
agree.
stories. It might take a while. There's people to help you. Now, Jay can help you tell your stories better. I've got writers who can help you write the story if you really want people to help you write the story. Now, there's writers, there's writing coaches, there's ghostwriters. There's people who can help you along the way. Leverage them.
Isn't that one of the biggest anxieties that people o- try to overcome? Is I have these ideas, but what if nobody really cares about them? If I publish it and don't sell a copy, right? The same thing with these live events. People have this tremendous anxiety of bringing themselves to the stage, whether it's through audible presence or visual presence. Like, what if no one shows up? Trust me, there's always someone listening. Like, I'm looking at the chat here, and we have, we talked about the time of day, and Zarar is joining us. It's 4:30 in the morning. It's like, who would have thought that someone at 4:30 in the morning would be interested in our conversation? But there's always someone interested, and that's what I like about this global audience. There are people who I aspire to be more like and learn from, and uh, have them as a mentoring voice. Those aren't the people that I'm trying to give back to. Those are the people that I'm learning from. It's those who are trailing me in their journey, who are aspiring to perhaps a minutia and wanting to be a little bit more like America, like Jade, like Annie, right? Those are the people that we're here to serve and build a community around, right? So we all have our place. We're all here for with a purpose, and our intentions are to, like, my intention is to help others be seen, be heard, and be remembered. And some people get sick of hearing me say that, but this has become my marketing strategy. I've stepped away from the keyboard, and now the art of writing has kind of, it's drawing me ever so closely back to the keyboard and saying, all right, I got stories. And yeah, they may not be stories that everyone's going to be interested in, but listen, there's enough people who will be inspired by the stories that I might want to share, and that you, the three of you, are currently sharing. So that is fantastic. And Jay, I think there's a slide that touches on slightly on some of what you said, and I'm gonna maybe jump forward. And we talked about where to start. Start, and it's going to answer some of the questions that some audience members may have. Find your concept, find your story, and just identify your core message. And Annie, you touched on it previously. You know, your core message can turn into 3 or 4 different books, right? It'll spawn into a multitude of ideas, a multitude of genres that can captivate different audiences of different ages, different geographical regions that will resonate, right?
I want to jump in and
Yes.
just a little bit here. I think I'm just going to go back to what OG Mike was talking about earlier. I think one of the things, just to answer the question head on, right? So AI, as we know it, it helps us. It's a tool, and I think that's what Eddie was talking about. And so, if you want to talk about tools, Chat GPT is the older guy on the block at this point in time. But I think the two that are coming up that are kind of making a dent in what's going on out there is Gemini, which is a product of Google. Gemini is actually, it really does go into the internet. Um, and then another product by Microsoft, which is Copilot. There's a lot of kind of interconnectedness with the Microsoft products, including Word, and that's been around for ages. And if you guys remember the paperclip from back in the day, right? That was I think our very first introduction to AI. But these are our tools, right? It can help you formulate chapters. It can help you kind of put things in a box, right? Kind of neatly packaged. But at the end of the day, I think Annie was just trying to explain that it has to come from us. The prompt is necessary from us, right? So it can't that will help us basically reach our audience on a much deeper level than just an algorithm. It's not that it's not an effective tool. It can be, and so I think that's important to understand.
Yeah. Can I
The
say
other thing I wanted to
oh, sir.
talk about, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Annie, I'm not trying to stop you, but you cannot just write your book with ChatGPT or AI. AI is your helper. It's your co-worker. Just like we use ChatGPT now to do so many things, but there's no way you can just turn in a book written by ChatGPT, because some of the things written there might actually not be true. Some of them are some repetitions. So what I do first is, first of all, think about who is going to read this book. Who is my book for? Before I started writing this financial freedom, unlocking passive income, I have been thinking about passive income being talking about finance. I mean, how passive income can help me and other things, and how it can help women, professional women. From I've been thinking about that, and I have a YouTube channel, and you have to find some people who are going to read the book you write. It's not just about writing a book. Otherwise, you just write a book and nobody reads it. Also, before I wrote Family Wealth Secret, I knew that there are women who doesn't know about financial freedom. And financial freedom is not what people teach you. I don't think schools want to teach it. I taught for 18 years in Nigeria. I taught mathematics. I was the department head. But nobody actually lets you teach. It's not in that curriculum. It's not in the curriculum here. I've taught for more than 30 years in here. But really, everybody needs to know financial education, whether you like it or not. So you know how to maneuver yourself through some kinds of goals. Your financial goals has to be met. Sometimes you finish college, get the degree, but you still don't know how to use your credit card. You don't know how to manage your all those things. You need to borrow money. And so you need financial education. So after, you see, what's my story, by the way? I went through college. I went to University of Nigeria and read accountancy, and then went to junior college and did mathematics, chemistry, and I came here and did master's degree in maths, teacher education. But all through this education, nobody taught me financial education, though. And I don't know for what reason, but on my way to go into Compass University, I had to buy a car. I was new as part of the culture shock. I was new, so I went to buy a car from one of the car lots, and they told me that I have to pull my credit and check And lo and behold, I have been here for a long time, and I wasn't a child. I was 40 something years. So to go and buy a car, they pull my credit, they check my credit history and other things. And I was asking myself, why haven't I heard about this credit history before? You might think it's a joke, but after some time, I started thinking about credit history, thinking about, because if this alone can stop me, either stop me or allow me to buy a car. I want to know what it is because I thought I was smart. I went to the best university in Nigeria. I thought I was smart. I studied, but still they said, well, until they pull my credit, they will now decide whether they will sell a car to me or not. When I came here, when I was new, so I was waiting for them. They pulled my credit. After time, they told me they will sell the car to me. But I have to pay a whopping, I don't want to say the number of percentage. Maybe I don't want to say that. The percentage of, the percentage I have to pay back, they pay back. But they give me a new card though. But anyway, so one thing is that because I wrote books on financial education and family wealth, I have to know who wants to read this kind of book. It's those who want to know financial freedom, know about their financial freedom. So you have to know, by the way, you have to know who wants to read the book. So you can ask ChatGPT because you can Google ChatGPT. You can go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Or YouTube is a search engine. There are so many search engines. You can go to Google, but it doesn't tell you all the story. You can actually go to Canva and write some parts of your book. And you can actually ask Canva to give you the chapters you need. But lo and behold, they're not going to write the book for you. And but when you finish writing this book, you want to make sure whether it passed the test. I have to check to see if my book passes the test. What percentage is a repetition from online quotes? What percentage of the book you have written? If you ask my Microsoft editor, it will tell you the percentage of the book you have written that is a repetition online. And if you doubt it, you go online and see that percentage. Yet, part of it was given to you by ChatGPT. So what I'm trying to say is that why do we have Grammarly? Why do we pay Grammarly a lot? They have to help you check all this and make sure you do some corrections. That what you're turning into Amazon is not what ChatGPT gave you. You better not do that. You better not give Amazon what ChatGPT gave you. There must be you, a part of you in the book you have written. That's why we call it your book. You go back and read the book, and that's why I don't want to publish my book. I want somebody to help me read through this book, see actually what I wrote into this book. Does it make sense? Does it really make sense? I want another eye, second eye. My people say second eye. So anyway, what is the main idea? What is the genre? Which one is it? Fiction or non-fiction or poetry? Which one are you writing? What is the book structure? What is the main conflict or problem? What are the main characters in the book? If it is a poetry book, what is the setting? What's the point of view of the book you're writing? Okay, so there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. It's not just what you go to bed and then I don't see anybody buying the book you wrote that ChatGPT just wrote for you. There must be the author in the book you wrote. Okay, there are so many things you can use Canva. You can use there are so many other things you can actually use. Even Microsoft Word will help you. But after they all help you, so what? It's still the book you wrote. You have to make it your book. Okay, I think I'm going to stop so far. It has to be your
See,
book, not ChatGPT.
thank you, Jay and Professor Roxanna. See, look, I think that America for a second. I think there's it's harking back to Mike's point about the help we can get. I think, and also I think it's always good to leave people with a clear idea of how where to get started, right? And I
Hmm.
think Dr. Roxana and Jay mentioned the very good points. I think the starting point differs depending on who you are. There's different ways we do it. I can tell you my way. I can tell you how my some of my writing coaches do what they do. Right. Of course, you have to have a general idea what you want to write about. You can't just start spewing words about everything, can you? Right? No. What are you writing about? Who you're trying to help? What's the problem you're trying to solve for them? You have to answer this question. I said I've done a room about the five big questions. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Who is it for? Who actually has that problem? And what is your solution? Yeah, and of course you have to understand people's needs in all of that, right? And then you begin to frame your solution based on how you can help them to solve that problem. That must be the point of the book. Some people will tell you they write books because they want to unburden themselves, like I said earlier. So I just want to get my story out. You might do, as Roxana said. The problem no one's going to read it. But if you have a clear focus, Roxana writes about financial literacy. Jay writes about storytelling and how to do it. I'm saying those are people's needs that they're trying to solve, right? See, one of my coaches will tell you, all right, now we have a topic. We know what we're trying to help people with. Just word vomit. I hate that concept, by the way. Just write anything that comes to mind, and then we can unpick and delete what doesn't apply later on, right? It might work. It's a way. So that I prefer Dr. Roxana's style, which is work at the chapters, break your thoughts, your solution down to chapters, your story into stories, right? What's the chapters that you're going to use to explain your solution? And then write to those chapters. Maybe come up with 12 chapters or something, and then write subheadings in those chapters, different stories, and then write to those subheadings. I think it helps you focus more on how you're going to write and without wasting too much energy. That's just one way. See, there's a step in the process of America that not everyone realizes. They think I just write, I go to a publisher and they publish my book. No, no. What these two are not telling you is quite simply is there's something called editing, which I'm not going to publish a book until someone has it edited, right? And I know the truth. See, when you have someone read the book, as Dr. Roxana said, second pair of eyes, I think you have to mentally prepare to rewrite the book. So if the editor says that bit's not explained properly, you're going to have to correct it. And the editor will say to you, you repeated yourself on page one and on page whatever, right? I'm saying repetition is not a good thing. And so you have to find a way to vary it and still make your point. But the point is that in editing, many people have to rewrite the book, and they're shocked. That's when they lose 20% of completion, because people they're like, I can't rewrite the book. How dare you to criticize my writing? Now get over it. They're trying to make your book better, read better, feel better, and actually make sense. We have to prepare for that stage. Is even by the time it comes to me to publish a book, people are shocked when I say to them, "Right, okay, I'm ready. I'll do the layouts first time." They're like, "Brilliant." I'm like, "I've done the layout. Read the book again." They're like, "Hmm." I'm like, "Read the book, cover to cover, every word. Because if anything's wrong with it, don't blame me. It's on you. Read the book." And they're like, "Oh," and they might read it, America. They think we're done. I'm like, "Brilliant, well done, you." So you come back. If you make big changes, I should do the layout again. And then, because there's been fundamental change, I'll give the book back to you to read again to make sure it is what you want. Now, every writer has to edit the book and read the book several times over. They don't. No one. People don't expect this. I'm just being honest with all of you here, right? It's a chance to fall in love with your book. Number one, chance to correct the mistakes in the process. And there's I don't see how there's a way around it. I could be nice to you and just say, I'll trust myself. No, it's not about me, it's about you. It's your book. You read it, you correct it, you're responsible. Eventually get to a stage where I might say, okay, fine. I'm going to put it onto Amazon. Guess what I'm going to do again, America? Can you guess yet?
You're
Upload it
gonna
to
make
Amazon.
let's read it again
Send
before
it
we go.
across. Say, there you go. Read it again. you know, it's a process. It means that we'll get a better book.
And you
Let
know
me-
what? That process, believe it or not, because we are our own worst critics, we will go over it with a fine tooth comb. So 10 iterations later, that's that's what happened in my case. And it was because I wanted it to be impactful. And I'm reading the comments from OG Mike. He's waxing poetic over here, just so you know. But I
He always
agree.
does, Jay. He always does. He is that man who is very good at words.
Right.
Amazing words.
And he's great. So I'm gonna I want to talk a little bit about it and address it because I think one of the things I'm living in my purpose as a result. Being a storyteller, one of the really important things about being a storyteller is listening, right? And so when you listen, you're taking in what the audience is sharing with you, their feedback on your story. And I think that, especially in these types of conversations, that's where the real storytelling really begins, is when you're actually conversing with your audience in real time. And I think that's really important. And you're seeing the impact in real time as you're sharing your story and they're sharing theirs with you. I want to go. I want to share a, a phrase that's very prominent here in America. It's reach one, teach one. And I think for me, even as a poet, that's what I'm attempting to do in my writing. And it may be different for other authors, but I think at the core of what we're trying to do is we're trying to reach our audience and we're trying to help educate them. And you heard Professor Roxanna talk about financial literacy. I think that's a really important cause. At the core of what it is that I want for my readers and for my audience is for them to be able to tell their stories and to tell it in such a way that is compelling and will be impactful to everyone, whether it be a poem, whether it be a life hack, whether it be something that's going to either it be a nonfiction or a fiction book. It doesn't matter. At the end of it, you want people to walk away with being, like Annie said, transformed. And I think that's really what authors are attempting to do, right? And so uh, if you go back to the comments and you start reading what OG Mike is saying, I mean, it's true. Why are we doing what we do? Why do we share the stories that we share? And is it to, I guess, go through the trauma of our experiences again? No, I think it's to embolden others through their experiences while looking at ours as an example. So I just thought I'd bring that to the conversation.
That this has been a fantastic conversation. I know we're at the top of the hour, and I'm sure we can go for hours on end. But I know it's getting late for some of us. I'm gonna jump back into the common challenges and see if there's anything that our panel would like to share. I know it's happened to me. It happens to me when during my academic years, when you're trying to put an essay together, when you're trying to put something together, writer's block. Any advice as to how to overcome that? Is it as simple as stop overthinking and just start regurgitating your thoughts and putting them to paper. If I look at Deidre, who dropped a comment, how she's making a reference to a brain dump rather than word vomit. And if I bring those two together, I could overcome writer's block by just vomiting a bunch of ideas. But when I look at this as a challenge,
It's quite a scary thought, right? Brain dump and word vomit.
uh, great ad. Uh, Challenges that any you covered: editing. Be prepared to overwhelm yourself. Revising can feel endless, but there's a purpose, there's an intent behind why it feels endless. Those who are working with you understand that they are working with you. They want to put a best selling product together and not just a minimal viable product just to say that you publish something. That's the takeaway that I got when you shared that editing piece. And some people might see it as a challenge, some might see it as a goal to overcome. But self doubt, when you start questioning your abilities and the entire process, it can uh, add to your anxiety, it can prevent you. And there's nothing that I tell people it's like that we can't overcome. Listen, I'm comfortable personally. I'm comfortable at sucking at something if I know that I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to fine tune and I'm going to refine it and I will get better. And there is a lot of that shared in today's conversation. You know, that 20, yeah, go ahead.
I think the self doubt thing that is a real thing. But I think it's a real thing for all creators, not just writers. That's something I see Deirdre's house. How you doing, Deirdre? Long time. And my friend in New Zealand said, "How do you get over fear and procrastination?" I think that is self doubt rearing its ugly head, right? I think what I've learned in my old age is that as you get towards the end, as you get towards pushing your baby out to the world, naturally you have this thing that comes in your head that no one, only you can hear it. What if they don't like it? You said it earlier in America. What if they don't like it? What if no one buys it? What if it's not as good as it could be? What if it's full of mistakes? What if, right? That's the self doubt playing the its ugly head. I'm saying, how do you get over apart from doing the work? That's not right. But my solution always is get it out to people. No, I talked about this in my room on Tuesday. If you want, the last mile is always the hardest. Always. In every journey, that the last 10 foot, the last 3 foot, Jay said, the gold is, though, as Jay said so beautifully, right? I'm saying, learn to get your book out to people to read. Rather than you sitting there fretting, get them to read your book and see what they think. You might be amazed. They might tell you this is the best thing I've ever read. More likely to come to you and to have some suggestions for improvement. Make those changes. And then let your book go. Don't sit there in fear and procrastination, because no one wins. And, there's no point writing a book no one ever reads. So, I say, always trust the customer, your readers. My friend Sarah says, give to 5 people. I'll take, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you have to do. Get them to read it. See what they think. That's how you get over the last mile in any journey.
And I think one of the things that helped me was all the stuff that was in my head, I brought here to LinkedIn and talked it over with people, right? And the more I started talking about storytelling and how it was important and how other people should share their stories, the feedback that I got real time in that interaction was the confirmation that I should move forward in it. So not just having somebody read a book, but just sharing that story again back and forth between your friends, your coworkers, people that you trust in your circle. that would give you honest answers about what it is that you want to try to write. I think that's important. You know, being able to share and then getting that feedback. Those are the things that are going to help you get over that fear, help you get over the procrastination. Once you start seeing that there's going to be a glimmer, or that there is a glimmer in somebody's eye when you mention, well, storytelling and why it's so important in today's society. Why should we continue to do it? See, these are the things that got me excited and actually had me writing, putting pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, because of those interactions and the feedback that I got. And I just want to end on this. You know, when you don't move forward, when you sit there and you go, should I or shouldn't I? That's the point where you should. When you have the doubt, move forward. I think one of the things that people tend to do is they stay stuck in that, oh, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. At that moment, you should, because what's happening is you're trying to justify whether or not you should do it or not. And I think if you had the inclination to do it in the first place, go with the first. I think that's it.
Isn't there
Yes. Oh,
isn't there the saying, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best time to plant it is now, right?
uh-huh. Exactly.
So, sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay. I was just going to say almost something. I said, stop procrastinating. Start. It's the right time to start writing your book is today, now. You start writing. It's also good to listen to feedback. Um, find, just do a market research. Maybe before you start writing, what's the title of the book? You can Google it. You can go to Chat GPT and ask them. Actually, today there is also called Math GPT. They invited me to a professional seminar on Math GPT today. So I have to go for that and see. So every day, so that's a proliferation of GPTs, eyes here and there. It's okay to use them, but after you use them, they are just a companion, a working partner. Don't just vomit what they give you. Make sure you know. Transform the book to your book and not the book for Chat GPT, whatever the name of the book is. You go personal experience. What is that personal experience that you want to put down for your children, for your legacy? That I have 14. I have a large family. Okay, I can just call them 12. I have 12 grandchildren. The oldest is 14. And oh, they're already reading my books. And I'm still alive. I'm happy. But because all those things you're stuck in you, in your head, what if something happens and you're not here? You better start now to put them down so that your generation will read your thoughts. It's not, you don't have to sell them. Suppose you don't sell them. So what? Go ahead and write the books. The best time to start is now. You can be in a writing community. You brainstorm together. You talk about it and you write. You can ask questions. I do ask questions. It's not asking questions is not it's not bad, but it is time to start writing that book. The book you want to write. Just stop waiting. Whatever you want to use, go ahead and use. If it is Canva, if it is Gemini, whatever you call them, but start. And when you finish, don't forget to look for something, read over it, find somebody to help you. Make sure, I don't know, but I want another eye on my book. Somebody else to read my book. It's not just putting them out there. Because I know two good heads are better than one. That's what they say, and it's true. So please start the book. Stop waiting.
That's
All right.
Fantastic. Listen, this is a great conversation, and I want to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time. Um, I can't thank both of you enough for joining. This was a great conversation, and I know you support both on and off of my shows, and I think that's what we're building here. This is a community. I see that our friend Zara are still with us now into the wee hours, 5 a.m. And a shout out to him. He wrote, best tellers are best sellers. And if you're not telling your story, you'll never sell your story. So that is fantastic. Like that reference. So we'll go quickly around the panel and allow everyone to share. How can we get a hold of you for those who aren't already following um, Annie and Roxana, as well as uh, Jay or myself? Why don't we close the room off with how can we get a hold of you? How can we reach out and buy your books? I know last time I dropped a link because of my IP address, it dropped the Canadian Amazon link. So please, if you want to sell and promote your book, I am looking forward to having you drop your link in the comments in today's thread so that it is in the country that you'd prefer to sell. Now, I'm sure you'll take buyers globally, but but please, why don't we start with Professor Roxana?
Okay. My company is Rosie Easy Consulting LLC, and well, now a sub company is the Learning Love 600, and the Learning Love 600 is my YouTube channel. There, my books are in there. I deal with also digital products. So my class videos, the courses I teach, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, statistics, calculus, I produce a video of them. That's one of the my stories because there are some questions that students ask you every day. And after you explain it, somebody will now remember ask you the same questions tomorrow. And then you answer the question. So I started saying, okay, why don't I make videos of these questions? Then I started making videos of them. And actually, what that started happening during COVID, I learned how to use Zoom. I learned how to use Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. I learned how to use Canvas. And then I started making videos so I can keep for my students who miss class. And when they come back from class, they now go back to the lessons we learned maybe a week ago and watch the videos. There is nothing like what the teacher said in class. And all the things I said, all the laughter and the mistakes and the questions and whatever the argument, it's going to be there when they come back, they see it. Because right now, some of our students are actually mothers and fathers. And because you can go to work, some of them work and come to school, and sometimes they cannot come to class. So when they come back from work, maybe by midnight, they'll go and watch the videos you kept for them, and they're able to write the exams and do very well. So I see how digital products, we call them digital because we have, so my videos, I record them in YouTube. I will put my YouTube channel. And then my main company is Rosie Easy Consulting LLC. And then I have my merchandise and some of these books in Rosie XYZ. So I opened some other, and then all those things, I'm trying to bring them together. But thank you so much anyway for bringing us here together. I appreciate you so much. Um, uh,
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
once
you so
again.
much. Thank you.
Any Global Media, how can people reach out and work with you?
I just shared the link to buy the book on Amazon. I tend to work with Amazon One Link, so it's a link that that gives you an option for all the stores, so you can choose US, choose Canada. So we're smart, America. We're smart, some of us. So maybe now, Dr. Roxana, which books do you want to put the link for?
I want to put the
Your,
links for
your
all of
website.
them. They're all in my website though, but I want to put
So
the link for my family wealth,
Family Wealth Secrets,
my financial freedom, and
financial
innovations in
freedom.
financial freedom,
Okay,
innovations in education. I don't have that here. Okay, so
okay.
all four of them, I want to put them in there.
I can't put them all in there.
Okay, well, all right. So just put in the latest one then.
Okay, okay. I'll put your Family Wealth Secrets, and then hopefully people will find the other links from there. How's that?
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So thank you so much.
Thank you, America, for the
Yeah, thank you for having us.
for bringing us together.
I don't get called to speak many times in America. Amazingly, people don't call me. They're like, any. It's always too childish. But you've been
Listen,
brave.
uh, I
I'm joking.
I've embraced this. It's helped me by having others bring their community to myself, and listen, it's working. But once again, let's not talk about me. I'm trying to be as selfless and as giving, because I've learned that the uh, the power of philanthropy and giving back, and how it's starting to pay me back. So let's wrap the show, and let's bring Jay's QR code. How can people reach out to and work with you, Jay?
Jay, are you on mute?
Yeah,
Maybe.
probably.
Th-
No, Jay's not speaking. I don't know whether they can't
He's
hear.
frozen,
No,
frozen.
it's not.
All right, so
He's moving. His eyes are moving, so it's not frozen. Yes, Jay, we're talking to you. You gotta have to love tech, right?
all right, so we have Jay's QR code. Jay is the storytelling strategist, and he'd be happy to connect with you. I'm going to close out the room, bring up my QR code. Listen, I've built a fantastic journey. That's someone. Oh, Jay's. We lost Jay, and Jay's back again.
All right.
Your battery die on your laptop?
Yeah, apparently.
All right. Let's bring your QR
I can
code
see you
again.
moving. I see you moving on my screen. I don't know how I managed that. You know.
All right. So why don't you share with us, how can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you, or learn more from you?
Sure. www.ruleyourstory.com. That's my website. There are several books in there, but the most important book, if you want to learn how to tell your story, that's The Rules of Engagement in Storytelling. You can get it there. It's also on Amazon. It's also on Apple Books. If you have a Apple product, you can get it there as well. It's in a bunch of different countries. So, and you're going to hear it here first. It's actually going to be published and distributed worldwide outside of Amazon. So, and that's happening in just a little bit. So, I'm kind of
Perfect.
proud of that.
And we're all proud. And guess what that deserves?
All right.
That is great.
Thank you. You have the clap, America. You have the clap.
Now,
Is a clap part of a restream, or is it a sound effects that you have separately?
these are I've uploaded them. These are royalty. I got a whole bunch of royalty free sound
That's
effects
good.
that I've uploaded
That's good.
Wow.
to Restream. Reach out. I'll give you the link if you want to
I
add them
certainly
to.
will. I certainly will. We'll need innovations, right? So thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
I will close the room off. I just want to share a little bit about who I am. I'm I'm a customer experience strategist. That was my previous role, but now I've taken my three passions. I've combined social selling, customer experience framework, and personal branding, and I'm helping people be seen, heard, and remembered, building marketing funnels, which ironically these shows have started to generate conversations, and I can't thank my guests enough. I couldn't do this without you. It takes a village, people say. Listen, it takes a global community, and there's a perfect example here. We have uh, both in the audience as well as on stage. Um, we're touching people at different corners of the earth, and I really like the fact that we're able to build a community and help each other, elevate each other, and more importantly, help bring your legacies to our each other's community. So, on that note, I want to thank everyone for sticking around. Those of you watching on Team Replay, I want to thank everyone for participating in today's conversation. For now, I'm going to close the room, and I can't thank all of you enough for sticking around for this great conversation. Have a great day and have a great rest of your day wherever it is that you find yourself. If it's morning for you, here's a little good morning. Good morning. It's time to wake up.
That's
If you're
good.
just winding things down for the evening, you're probably hearing a few crickets. You're sitting on the porch. You're having a cup of tea, but it's time to bring cue the music and call an end to the show. Take care, everyone.